Hello, Trista. Sorry, I am trying to get the best angle for my phone.
Is it
I'm,
working?
yes. Hello,
Wow,
Sarah.
so well. Okay, so this is going well, but this isn't. Hold on. I'm just at like this weird blank screen currently. So when this loads, I'll have my notes. But until then, I'm not. But I remember most of
Hello, Angel. Hello, Sherry. I want to get ready to dive right into it. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best angle. I just got off work.
it. You're good. I thought the live started at 7:30, and then my anxiety 5 minutes before the live started was like, we should check that. And I checked it, and I was like, so I quickly got dressed, brushed my hair, and now my computer just doesn't want to turn on. But I'm here though.
Well, I am excited to
Hey,
bring
Sherry.
news to everybody. Hello, Sherry. Since
I
we
didn't do it
have
this
some
time.
people on, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Welcome back to What's the Tea on Tarot. I want to take this time to thank you all for your patience from Sunday. I got food poisoning. I was down and out. So thank you guys for your patience. We are going to be moving in a different direction with tarot, getting you guys into the non-traditional aspects. So with that, I have a disclaimer
Hey,
starting
Ellen.
with this live.
Wait,
We
a
are
big
not
disclaimer.
we are not promoting usage of any of these products. We are only providing information on how natural herbs are used in witchcraft and spiritually. Only consenting adults fully informed on the product and health-related information should even consider usage. But we are not promoting or endorsing the usage of said products.
Here, hold on. I think I know what the echoing is. 1 second. I will return in a second, Cheyenne.
Okay, she shall be back. Anyway, that disclaimer will make more sense when we get a little bit further down into the live. I just wanted to make sure that was said first at the very beginning. And again, welcome back, ladies. I am just waiting on Sarah. As we know, I told you guys that we are welcoming a new guest this live. She is also going to be helping from now on with What's the Tea on Tarot. I am super excited to bring her into this as there was some complications going on and Rachel needed to step down. So I hope you guys give Sarah the warm welcoming that you guys gave us when she comes back on. Uh, there's Sarah. I see Sarah. See her. Let's see if I can bring her back on. There we go.
Dang, I didn't know it was going to kick me. I just needed to take the phone case off and then it would stop echoing. Yeah, because I saw the comment said it was echoing and I was like, rats, I forgot to take the case off. This phone, for some reason, if I have the case on it, it echoes horribly, but I'll break it without the case, so.
I get that. All right. Well, we're on to you. I already introduced you, so
Yeah,
go
I
ahead and
heard
give us
everything. I
the
was here the whole time. I was just having technical difficulties. Okay, so my computer's still not up, but if you say the thing that we're at, I should be able to follow along. But yeah, I'm Sarah. I know some of you guys have probably seen my lives, but a quick introduction of me is I am 22. Pretty much my whole life is just going with the flow, doing a lot of nothing, and hanging out with my pets. I have a dog and 2 cats, an Abby, Aphrodite, and a Gandalf, and pretty much that's who I spend my time with. And then yeah, I think that's my practice. Yeah. So a little bit about my practice is that I've been practicing for about as long as I can remember, to be honest. Cheyenne, could you read that blurb? Because I typed it perfectly.
Being involved magically and in touch with my intuition as long as I could remember. As a child, I studied many religions, visited places of worship, trying to find what fit. I started practicing with different divination types around 14, 15. Today, I'm a big mixing pot of stew, holding and using things from many paths and walks. Always with proper research and lots of respect. Elders are a favorite place to learn. I enjoy things from, okay, I can't say that word, but it's the T word.
Transcendentalism. I knew where we were at. Free thinking. I don't remember the rest of it.
Energy links, astral projection, left-handed magic, right-handed, and other things as well, forever growing and expanding. Your life motto has always been to learn and share as much knowledge as possible.
Yes, thank you. See, I typed it out perfectly, but my computer is hating me right now. But yeah, pretty much I've taken everything that I've learned and I've kind of just pushed it together in what I think. That's why I have a cute little Poe back here. He's my inspiration when I'm lacking. I like looking at all the different things. But yeah, and I like I've shown in some of my other lives my witchy area over here, and that's a big representation. I put little pieces along the way of everything that I've learned, even if it's not a witchy item, so to speak. If it represents a time, I put it in there, and it holds like a place. But thank you for reading that blurb for me. But this is restarting, so hopefully it works.
All right, so now we have changes to the live scheduling and programs coming up. So starting, it was supposed to start with July. August is going to be, I guess, kind of a little technical. It's going to have 2 because of, well, being
this
sick.
one and then later in the month.
But we are going down to 1 live a month, 1 program a month, possible additional interactive lives such as like chit chat lives to go over a little bit of tarot, not so much actual tarot, but like chat about tarot. Bring you guys on, do different spreads, different things with each other. That's
do
a
little
possibility.
interactive yes or no questions and just a little easy divination with the chat, just to have a fun interactive moment.
Okay, give me your love. 1 second, ladies.
You're good. But no, we thought that whenever we have a little bit of extra time or everybody seems really interested, that it would be fun to hop on with like an interactive live, and we could do yes or no questions, or we could just do like really simple basic questions in the chat, whether it be with a pendulum or cards. And hey, glad you could join us. I'm glad you like the idea, Ellen. And also, thank you for complimenting my bio. I was like having fun typing that up. I was sad I didn't get to read it, but Cheyenne did a good job reading it for me. Thankfully,
that's my best.
Maybe working.
As well, and then another thing that will be added as a requirement is the feedback form. At the end of the Tarot Partnership Program, I would love for each and every one of you to actually take the time to fill out that feedback, because that feedback is what we use to plan our future lives. It helps us keep our brains moving in the direction that you guys want us to go. So that is something that is going to be required from now on with the partnership program. Is your computer up?
It's getting there. It's way farther along than it was before. This computer, by the way, for everyone's sake, was the cheapest computer on sale about 13 years ago. So I'm impressed it still works. So I gotta give it grace. But hey,
buying you a new one. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Google is finally pulling up. Like, we've gotten somewhere.
Um, let's go. Quick well, this is where you were supposed to speak. Do you want to go over the recap of the requirements? Can you remember them
Okay,
without
yes. So
looking them up?
the recap of the requirements is that we're going to have one live a month, which is like this live would be the July live, where we go over a topic, and then yeah, slow is better than a blue screen. You have to watch the live where we go over the topic, which would be this one of those a month. You don't have to watch the interactive live if there is one. You do have to fill out the participation form to do the live. And then you also must be communicative with your partner and us throughout it. You also have to fill out the feedback form. Did
There
I
you go.
miss anything?
Nope, you didn't miss
Oh my
anything.
gosh, woohoo! See, I paid attention while you were talking. I listened for those requirements.
The disciplinary actions is now being changed to a 3-strike out policy. Things counting for strikes can include no feedback, lack of communication with partners or us, ghosting us for over 48 hours, lack of reading, and toxicity. If someone 100% does not complete a read with zero communication, is an automatic 1-week sit out and coming back with probationary read. Probationary reading to rejoin program is going to be a simple 3-card pool for one of us, me or Sarah, and it's going to either be a mind, body, soul, or a past, present, future.
If you are here to just learn and not have a partner, then you do not have to sign up for the partnership, and you can pick and choose if you want to watch the live or not. The requirements are only for the people that want to sign up for the tarot partnership each month. But the partnership is not required. You do not have to sign up for it if you do not want.
Good job.
And I finally got the page to load.
Good. That's perfect because we're on to you.
Perfect timing. Okay, so now I'm going to hop into introducing my reading style, and thankfully the universe did want me to introduce that, so Google finally worked. But I would say that I have a fair mix of traditional and non-traditional reading. I do sort of whatever feels natural in the moment. The sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want when you're reading, whatever feels good for you. If I look this way and it's annoying, it's because I'm reading the computer. I also do a combination sometimes with different divination methods. And a lot of times my readings are really based on energy, connecting to someone's aura, or also connecting to someone's inner child and just inner problems. My usual reading method, I usually read outdoors. I pay attention a lot to my headspace. I clear my mind. I sit on the ground or sometimes a hammock because I really like hammocks. I usually shuffle my cards. I feel the individual cards. I spread them out on a flat surface and I feel across them like I spread the cards out and I will run my hands across them. And if I'm reading for myself, I think it or I say it out loud what I want to gain from the reading. If there's something I'm wanting to gain, if it's just a message, then I just ask, what do I need to know? And if I'm reading for another person, sometimes I will allow them to shuffle the cards if I feel like called to do that, but I don't always. And then if I do that, then I'll take the cards back and then I'll split the deck and then I'll continue like I usually do. And then if I read for people over the phone, I make sure to look at a picture of them, and I also repeat their name in my mind and ask what they want the reading for, because usually if I'm reading for someone, they have a direct question. And then I'll gather up all the cards, and then I just usually shuffle them and let them fall out. If no cards are falling out, then I resort to other methods, but usually I stick to the shuffling and waiting for one to fall. And then I read the cards energetically and intuitively, and then we'll get into more of how I read them when we explain the non-traditional methods. So I think that's what I got.
All right. Let's go. Let's touch base back on why we're here. Non-traditional readings for tarot. We have covered as I had started this
Theories.
program. We have started with getting you into just reading in general, understanding how to connect to somebody's energy, understanding how to connect to your partner, and to provide a decent read for each other and give each other feedback to learn from. Now we're going to go towards the non-traditional side of tarot, what this was all meant for. Non-traditional tarot is no spreads, no specific questions, no specific direction. It is all about your feeling of somebody's energy, understanding and connecting to that person through their energy and allowing what they need to know to just come out in the cards. And then that goes into when you're pulling those cards or shuffling those cards, however you go about doing your cards. Those are where your intuition comes into. You don't want to take the book information and give them all of that information for that read. You want to use your intuition. Look at that card. Figure out what that imagery means to you. Figure out what scenes are playing in your head when you look at that card. Because I know when I look at a card that has a person and there is usually grass and a path, I can picture them walking down that path. I'm watching what they are doing. I think I got that pretty well. I also like to incorporate different decks to my stuff as well. I don't just stick with the plain Jane tarot that you guys have all seen. I like to add and combine my two different tarot decks together when I'm doing reads. I also like to bring my oracle cards into my tarot reads, which we'll get more into later.
Okay, so yeah, like Cheyenne was saying, when you're doing non-traditional readings, you don't have to stick to spreads. You can use them, you can create your own spreads, and there's no like specific card limit. You can go into it and say, I have a card maximum, or I have a card minimum, or you can go into it with absolutely nothing. You can head right into it with specific questions, or you can go more into it with just what your intuition is. And a thing to remember is more cards does not necessarily equal more detail. Sometimes people get really caught up in having these really large readings, and sometimes you lose detail in that because you're looking at so many things, it's harder for you to hone in on that one thing. And then also, there's 1.5 million different shuffling styles. People be doing some crazy things with shuffling that I wish I could do, pretty impressive, but can't. But there's 1 million different ways to shuffle. Some people are hyper, I cannot bend my cards, nothing good happens to these cards. They need to be perfectly straight, and that's perfectly fine. And some people be cracking into them just like books. And then there's 1 million there's 1 million different pulling styles to how you can get your cards out. You can let them fall out, you can pull them out, you could pick certain numbers of cards throughout them. Like I've seen a lot of different stuff. And then you can use multiple decks. Like Cheyenne was talking about, you can pair it with oracle decks, you can pair it with your heart's content with decks. It can be whatever you imagine with what you're pairing it with, but we'll get more into that eventually. And then hopping down from that, we can get into different card positioning. So let me grab a card for what I mean. Really got one. Awesome. Okay, so here's one. This is Strength. I just ripped it off my altar. So someone sent me this beauty in the mail. I don't know who it was, but it holds a special place on my altar, and it will stay there. But so when I'm reading cards, if the card falls out horizontal, like I will read it horizontal. If it falls out slanted in different directions, I let that play into my readings. I don't strictly do the reverse and forward. And then also if I'm like pulling cards out and this thing like flies through the air, I'm gonna take note of that. I've also had it before where cards fly out and literally hit me in the face. And I feel like that says something. Maybe I need to pay attention to that. It's like a personal attack at that point. So then I really need to pay attention to it. Also, like with things, sometimes the deck just will call to you. The deck will just be sitting over here and it'll be like, come pull a card. And I'll be like, no. And I just have to because I just won't stop staring at it. But furthermore, with reading different slanting and positioning of cards, the numerology, the numbers on the cards, like if you do a reading and you get a bunch of eights, you could look at that. Or if you get all even numbers, or if you get angel numbers, but that's for you. Would you like to hop into angel numbers for a second? That's not right there, but you can talk about it for a second if you'd like. So I can take a sip of this water.
Angel numbers, I look for angel numbers when I'm doing my reads. I feel like sometimes, not all times, sometimes I feel like if I pay attention to the angel numbers, they give a little bit more of a context behind their read. That's why I like to look for angel numbers. And if you don't know what angel numbers are, they are the repetitive number of 111, 222, 333, so on and such forth.
And then also after numerology and angel numbers, you can look into if there's a bunch of the same suit, like if you have a bunch of wands, or if you notice a specific pattern. It might not be everything's the same, but it could come out in a pattern. Like you could have this suit and then this one, and like you could have a wand, pentacle, and then you could pay attention to that. When I'm doing the suits, I also like to look at minor versus major arcana cards. Because if I have a bunch of minor cards and then one major at the end, that really tells me a lot. And then if I have like a couple minors and then a major and then a couple minors and then a major, it tells like a story. It shows like the arcs of the larger things, or it could be components of the larger thing. And then you can.
So what's the difference between minor and major cards?
Oh, the energy of the cards. Sorry.
You're good.
The energy of that goes back to not pulling the book. Don't pull the book definition. If you look at the devil card and you pull the book definition, actually, it has a very happy meaning. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you really dig into the book meaning, it's a very happy card, with some strings attached to it.
It really depends on the book.
Yeah.
Who wrote the book? Whoever wrote the book is depending on what it is.
And that's the other thing. You have AE, wait, then you have, I can't remember the other one. There's two different major types of tarot, and both books are totally different, which is why.
And then I don't know who the other one is, and my computer's too slow to look it up.
Yeah, you know what? I bet you
I might as well go to the library and check out a book before the computer's gonna pull up the page that will tell me. Crowley. That's what Ellen says. Ellen's pretty smart.
I can't see the comments.
Oh, okay. Well, Ellen says Crowley, and then she was talking about how she likes the idea of the angles with horizontal and vertically. I appreciate that. I use that in almost all of my reads. She also said combining the decks is very powerful, and Sherry had to hop out for a little bit, but she said she touched the replay. But other than that, I've been reading all the comments and talking about them. And now we got some cute laugh emojis.
I can't see the comments.
That's okay. I'll play narrator.
So what we want you to do is we want you to pull the energy from the cards. So if I don't even have my tarot deck up here. I said, I just got off work.
Well, a couple cards was really accurate. I got two. My deck is in the other room, so I don't want to sprint away. But I have the sun from this deck, which someone else also sent me. And then I have strength right here. I also have a random oracle card, plenty of information cards. But these are the tarot.
We'll go with that sun. We'll go with the sun. Okay. I mean, I know the sun has been used numerous times before, but in this one, the sun doesn't give me a happy feeling. Ooh, it actually gives me a pretty, somber feeling. if
He
you
looks like he needs a
actually,
nap.
yeah, right. The uh, you can get a little bit of happy from it from if you look at the sunflowers behind it. If you know anything about sunflowers, that's my favorite, one of my favorite flowers. They are a
Me
very
too.
happy flower
Yeah.
for me. But if you weren't doing a reading for me and I was doing for somebody else, that doesn't mean that those will be the same feelings. I want to pull the energy from that person. If I'm pulling it from Sarah, she's an overly happy person in a general sense. I've
Thank
done
you.
her aura
That's
reading numerous times, and I can always pull happy energy from her. So if I'm doing a read for her, that card could be mean more happy. But if you're pulling it for me, I see that as more of a somber card, if that makes a little bit of sense.
That does.
On
I
it.
also want to point this out with the card. These little wall pieces, if you look very closely, they look like spaces. This girl looks very happy. She has a large smile. She's got this white, like, angelic look. We have this solid white horse. And then these look like there are people in them, like on the imagery. Just to get a little closer. I realized I could totally flip the camera around. That'd be helpful. So, there we go. But yeah, pulling from the energy of the cards, oof, rather than just the words. Because also, a way you can do the energy of the cards is don't flip them over yet. Feel the energy of the card before you look at it, and then look at it and see how you feel. It might change, but it might just be really the exact same. It might just really confirm how you were feeling. That's often how I feel, where it just really confirms different things to generate like a feeling beforehand. And then we were really hitting on the symbolism while we were digging into that card. But we should talk. There's a lot of different perspectives with symbolism, like how she was explaining with looking at the sunflowers different ways depending on who you are. And this also really plays into coloring with cards. For instance, there is a like pink banner right here. For someone, this could really represent love. But for someone, like maybe let's say they hated the color pink, but their like whole family like shoved pink upon them, they might hate that. This flag might just represent like fury and make you want to like burn down everything. But for some people, this might make you be like so loving that you just want to like run up and hug a stranger. Like who knows? It depends on your different perspective. So that's why sometimes when you like have like a deep thing for yourself, if you look into it, into the cards, it plays on a symbolism that someone else wouldn't be able to know for you because they don't know you like that. If that makes sense. Anything you want to add on that? No? Okay,
No.
so we're going to hit this disclaimer one more time. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, I want to say this one more thing. A good thing that you can do for practicing, like looking at symbolism and stuff like that, is to do a daily one card pull, or it doesn't have to be daily. When you're feeling it, pull a card and look at just that one card. Because sometimes if you're like, I want to study the symbolism, and you pick up all of the cards, that could be like really overwhelming. And you're not going to be able to dig as deep, but if you look at one card at a time, you can really pull it. But now I'm going to repeat that disclaimer because we're going to come back to that again, and I don't, just in case someone didn't hear it in the beginning, we just want to repeat it. So we are not promoting usage of any of these products. We are only providing information on how some natural herbs are used in witchcraft and spirituality. And for only consenting adults fully informed on the product and health-related information should even consider usage, but we are not promoting or endorsing or condoning the usage of said products. That will be relevant later, and we'll repeat it again before it is relevant. That's just, we needed to note that.
Covering
But we're going to hop into
our booties. So now we're going to take a step back. Let's talk about last program before we get into this week's program. One of my biggest things is going to go over feedback. Feedback from us, I will start with.
for the elemental program.
For the elemental program. Communication. Communication was a little buggy this time around. We had to address some issues. Please, 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 please communicate. It takes
2 seconds.
2.5 seconds out of the day to go, hey, I'm a little busy at the moment, or
It could be
I
the
need more
briefest
time,
message.
or I need to talk to you later, or if you are struggling, you have 3 to 4 options. You can message me personally. You can message Sarah personally. You could message her before, but you guys didn't know her very well, so I wasn't directing you towards her for the last live. You have the group chat. That is what that chat is there for. And you have your partner. Your partner is there to help you grow in always the way we are. So please, 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 please get better with your communication. That would be great. Another thing is the quality of reads. Don't rush. Take your time. Make sure you are actually putting forth effort into your readings. Make sure you are also providing a decent feedback for your partner. Something that they can actually grow and work off of. The only way we can grow is by that feedback. I'm sorry, guys. My child's talking in the background.
Where are you going? She's going to get a cake cuisine.
Oh. She doesn't have my sass or nothing, I swear. Make sure you're giving each other the feedback that they deserve, because it's not helping anybody if you're not giving them honest feedback. If it doesn't resonate with you, tell them. If half of it resonates with you, tell them. Tell them so that they know, okay, so I guess I might not have been actually pulling from your energy. Maybe I need a stronger connection. Give them that feedback so that they can learn from that. And last, utilize the group chat and personal messages. Please, 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 please. Start using that so that we can help you.
Okay, so I'm gonna recap what you said real quick. So with as well as you guys working on your communication to us if you need something, if we are explaining something to you and it doesn't make sense and our communication is not coming across to you in a way that makes sense, say it. Like we will take the time to reword it and help you understand what we're saying, because we can always be as needing to affect our communication better as well as you guys. It's a two-way street. It's not just you guys. We also have to make sure we do that. And the quality of readings is so that way you guys enjoy the program more, because if you guys put more effort into your reading and then you communicate with your partners and then you give good feedback, then you'll get better readings and you'll have a more fun and enriching experience with the program, and it just makes everything run smoother. Also with the group chat, there is no dumb questions. And also, there's no bad time to message. Everyone has different time zones, different schedules going on. Don't feel like, oh, I'm having a problem, but it's 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe I shouldn't send a message. If someone doesn't want to receive messages, like, hear that, I'm sure that they will put their notifications on silent for that, so that way they don't have to hear it. You're not going to bother anybody. You can send a message in the group chat. And to myself or Cheyenne, you can send a message at any time. We'll respond when we have the time. Just like sometimes the time we send a message might not be the most convenient, but people's schedules are a little different. But now Cheyenne's going to hop into what y'all's feedback was from the last program for us.
Yeah, let me pull that up first.
It was connecting with elements, using them in the readings, and the confidence.
Yeah,
Gotta highlight.
I wanted to actually pull up everybody's
their specific
feedback.
message, yeah.
I can't remember where we put it, so please bear with me a second.
It's on the spreadsheet.
Elemental.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so you guys have provided us with, let's start with, what do you think we could do to make the program better? You guys had most of you guys said nothing that you guys can think of, but some of you guys said about more partnerships and experiences. That is what we are trying to do, but through the holiday season, we have to take a step back a little bit because everybody gets hectic during the holiday season. I know I do, and this year is 10 times worse. So we are working on that.
That's what those interactive lives that we were planning on popping in occasionally, we were talking about in the very beginning.
Absolutely. You guys also had said about adding extra divination methods. Me and Sarah have already been discussing our prep time for our next live about talking about that. So stay tuned. It is coming. I promise. I wanted to make sure you guys know this. It is coming. Another feedback was maybe do a practice draw for everyone in the live. I like that. I like that idea a lot. I think we could definitely utilize that in the future lives. Me and Sarah can work that out when we're planning our programming. Maybe add a spot in there, okay, during between these times, you know what I'm talking about on our bulletin thing. Between this point and this point, that's where we can do it. We can fit that in.
Yeah,
I think it's an
section
awesome
out a little
idea.
time in the lives, and then like we said, we want to do those interactive lives where whoever is in the chat can pop in and get readings on different things. So we definitely heard that, and we're definitely going to work it in.
Another thing that you guys had said was you guys were having issues with connecting to the elements. Now, I actually want to let you touch a little bit more base on that because you helped a little bit better on some of the ones that were having issues.
Before we explain with the connecting with elements, we should touch back on all the other feedback because that will be kind of a longer thing because it will go into the other stuff. So do you want to hit on those other points before we talk about
Yep.
that? Awesome.
We're retouching. We are using them in the reading.
Right here. Yeah.
You guys also told us you struggled a little bit with how to use the elements in the reading. A lot of you guys, I feel, were trying to specifically pull for that element, or that your cards had to be within that element. And that was not the direction we were going.
Yeah, and we'll have
I
to go back
know.
into that a little too.
I don't want. Yeah, I guess I don't want to go too far into that. But
Yeah,
that I wanted to make sure I touched that with you guys. That was not where we were going with that. And then confidence, confidence, confidence. Ladies, it's okay to lack confidence. I lack it some days. It's okay. But if you are feeling like you don't have the confidence for this read or it's overstimulating in your brain, please, please, please reach out. That's what we're here for. That's how we're going to help you grow. That is the best way to help you grow. And the only way I'm going to know you're struggling is if you reach out. So
and
please, please,
confident.
please stay
like, you
confident.
can do it. Like it is there's like it's how you feel. It's going off your intuition. So just follow with what you feel like you should do rather than becoming so stuck in your head. And is it okay if I continue hit that recap? Okay.
Absolutely. I'm trying to do something here.
So with the confidence thing, it's a lot of times I feel with what we were talking about with using the readings is people some of the people in the readings were getting really stuck, I think, because they were placing so many barriers on themselves. And when you're doing the reading, you don't have to feel like this is wrong. It doesn't like a lot of times you really overthink it and feel like this is wrong, this doesn't sound right. But if I'm doing a reading for Cheyenne, then what I read in the card is not going to make sense in my own personal life because it's not for me. It's going to fit into her life. So while I'm reading it, it might not make a lot of sense, but I just have to trust in my intuition and trust in myself that the message that is in there, I can get out. And while when you're having a harder time, that message might be a little rough and you can always polish it up by practicing reading to smoother get that message and dive in. You have to trust your confidence and your intuition and yourself and go with what you think, because while yes, I and Cheyenne are here to boost your confidence, I cannot tell you what the card is meaning specifically for you because you have to determine that. That's up to you and your connection to the card and the reading. And then with the elements, I did help a couple people out because there are certain cards that represent specific elements, but it's very up to yourself. Just because the sun, not the sun card. Oh, I only have major cards next to me. I'm fine. Just because a certain element is represented by a section of cards doesn't mean it has to stay stuck in that. So if this card is supposed to be a fire card, but it's not, like doesn't matter. Like you can read into it a little bit more and don't place those harsh blocks on yourself. You don't want to pull the card and be like, I pulled the wrong card, because you did not pull the wrong card. You pulled that card because you were meant to pull the card. And I think that was where a lot of people were getting stuck, is they felt like that card didn't fit in the spot just because of the technical labeling of the card, even though there's no way to prove what's technically what. I think that's I feel like what you were trying to touch on. Okay, so if you want to fly down here.
Okay, and so to retouch over the elements, ways to incorporate the elements in your daily craft.
Before you use them in your readings, connecting them in your daily craft.
Yeah, thank you. I've missed a couple words.
That's okay. I knew I wanted to slip that in there real quick.
It's been a really long work day.
It's okay, I got you.
You want to incorporate them in your daily craft. You want to connect to them. One of the pick an element. Start with picking one element. A day, a week. I don't. However, whatever works for you. However it works for you. Take that element. Find representations of it. If you search the elements, you can find crystals that represent that element. You can find herbs that represent that element. You can find animals that represent that element. I'm telling you, the results are endless. Find something that works for you and connect with it. Take time, meditate on that element. Get yourself really, really familiar with that element. And once you're confident with that element, move to the next one. And so on and so forth. Because then, once you're connected with the elements fully in your daily, you'll know how to incorporate them in your tarot, because they'll just start coming naturally. Oh, I can feel how this pulled so much over here in the air aspect because of this, that, and the other thing. Add physical reminders or representations into your space and your person. I like to collect feathers. You guys saw that with my last live that I did for Unseen. I collect feathers. Anytime a feather is dropped in front of me or I come across it, I pick it up and I put it on my altar. Oh, so you've got really pretty feathers.
I'm gonna mail you some. Next time I can, I'm gonna mail you some.
I love feathers. I collect them a lot. I also like collecting candles too. I love the fire element. I love watching fire, especially when I'm doing my readings. I feel all of the passion from that. And those physical representations, fire does not have to be represented by a candle. It can be represented by the color red. It could be represented by a picture of a Leo, for all you know, because I feel like the fire element does connect with the Leos. You know, you can pull different symbolisms from different aspects to represent it.
Okay. So I'm gonna hop into some of those physical representations. So when you're outdoors, okay, so if you want to have physical representations that are not necessarily entirely like an object in front of you, you could sit outdoors for your reading and use that as earth. You could take deep breaths to represent air. You could have a glass of water to represent red. And you could have a little tea candle or something next to you. Hey, Linda. You could have a little tea candle or something next to you. And to anyone looking around you, that would not necessarily look like you're meditating with a bunch of elements. You're just sitting there with a little tea candle, your little cup of water, and you have all of your elements. But some other non-traditional ones could be using specific colors, using crystals, ribbons, stickers, your personal drawings. It could be poetry that represents each element. You could print out a poem that represents each element for you. You could have books that you feel this is a fiery book, and you could just set it in front of you and have one for each element. You could use your Pokemon stuffies if you wanted. You could use your Squishmallows. You could have your actual Pokemon cards. Get that fire energy card out. Like, you could do a lot of things with that. You could use Uno cards if you are in the broom closet and you can't have people knowing and things like that. You could use Uno cards. They have different colors on them. You could pull a color card for each different element. You could do different crochet patterns, knitting patterns. And it's all about just channeling and connecting with the energy of that element. And the more personal your representation is, the easier it's going to be. Because, like, if it's something that's, like, super far off, like, not everybody's going to see a candle, and that's going to be their closest representation. Maybe someone wants a bonfire for their fire, or maybe someone just wants to crochet a cute little thing and that's going to represent fire for them. It's all about being personal with that. If you want to hit this that I highlighted.
As soon as I plug the phone in, give me one second.
Kind of sad that I missed the Team Zero stuff. We're going to hop back into that. You didn't completely miss it, but it is always available on the replay. But we are definitely not done, so you are still here for some of it.
All right. And then you can add the elements to your meditations. I personally, when I meditate every night, I incorporate every element: spirit, fire, earth, air, water. They're all represented on my altar when I meditate. You can leave out offerings for the elements. Any kind of offering, any kind of earthly offering to the elements that you felt they deserved for helping you, for giving you their knowledge, for being able to tap into to their energies. It's pretty well a way of giving them thanks and acknowledging that they helped you with grounding with them and tapping into their energy and really feeling how they work and how it works with within the universe of connecting to them. God, I can't speak. It's fine.
With little offerings, I love acorns. Like, the entire time of fall, you see me walk into my mailbox, people think I'm crazy. I'm picking up all the acorns because, like, those are just such easy offerings. I have a jar that I keep by my door because if I was to ever have a visitor, which I don't because, people, I would give them an acorn on the way out because I feel like that would be cute. But no one comes to visit, so I leave them for the birds. That's fine. They appreciate it. The birds and the squirrels, they appreciate me. But those are, like, it could be anything. It could be a little rock. It could be whatever. I did push it down so it's easier to tell where we're at.
You're good. I just scrolled down my page. You're good. I'm just trying make sure that, and then figure out what elements call to you, because some people, not every element's going to call to you. Figure out the ones that do. Figure out the ones that you can really get a connection to, really feel their energies with. Maybe you don't connect to fire energy, but you connect to water energy. That's fine. You don't have to connect to every element, and you don't have to use every element in every read that you do. It's just there to help you as an extra energy to source to really help you within your reads. But don't feel like you're confined to every one of them. You are able to connect to just one if that's all that you feel connected to. So don't feel like you're obligated.
With the physical representations, I wanted to add this. Okay, so this is a pretty obvious representation I have with Earth. This is here my wand, and you would think this is for air, but psych, it's not. This is for water, and it's
I love
because
that.
I found this next to Great Lake Erie. I found it just like this. I've never done anything to it, literally nothing. I picked it up off the ground. It looked just like this, and I was like, ka-choo! And I had to take it. And ever since then, that's why it's water. So, when I'm really wanting to call to water, because that was next to, like, the Great Lake, like a pretty good example for water, that's what I use. So here's a less obvious representation and a little bit more obvious of a representation.
I love that. I think
You're right here.
I'm trying to think, because I know I touched a little base with, I pretty well touched base with that too. You can see me clicking, can't you?
Yeah, I can see everything. I am so glad that you like my wand, Ellen. It's one of my favorite things in my collection. To be honest, I could probably give you like 60 stories for like anything, probably that piece of paper if I wanted to. But I really like stories for items, so
I'm
like the
gonna let you touch base on that
on
so that you can make it make sense, because I'm
Okay.
tongue-tied.
So so taking how we're using these representations and we are implementing the elements in our daily craft, we're connecting to them, we are working on the ones that we're less strong with, and then we are working to really strengthen up those ones that are our good ones. Because while you don't, like Cheyenne was saying, you don't have to work with all of them. Sometimes it's nice if you want a little bit of a challenge with something that's harder, you work with one that you don't connect to as much. But then some days you really just want to keep adding on to those ones that you connect to well. So transporting from that into using them with readings. So the way to use them with readings without feeling like you have to draw a fire card, you have to draw an air card, you have to draw so forth, and one has to be wands, one has to be pentacles. Instead of trying to limit yourself like that, when you're using them in the reading, you need to think about what it is you're trying to do with using them in the reading. You can't just say, okay, this is an elemental reading, and bam, bam, bam. Like, you need to think about, are you trying to call to all of the elements in this reading? Are you trying to call to specific elements in this reading? Are you not asking a specific question and you're just wanting to pull from those elemental spots from that person and see what they need? It's diving a little bit more into what is your intention with this reading. And the elements are supposed to be supporters, not definers. So I'm going to use a little analogy here. If I was like playing Pokemon or something, I'm not putting down these fire cards to limit myself. I'm hyping up my character. So if I'm doing this reading and I'm pulling from the fire energy, I'm pulling that fire energy into me to then put into that reading, rather than being like, this must be a fire card, it must be this suit, and it must be this, because that is very defining and very limiting. And so trying to understand what each element encompasses and what the energy of that element is and why you're using it and what it represents really helps. And sometimes when you do the reading, you might see representations of all the elements, and sometimes you might not. You might go into them with thinking about all of the elements, and the entire read just screams fire. And then so maybe you'll want to focus into more onto that. If you would like to say anything else about that. I hope that was the message you were trying to get across.
Thank you. The words just are not working for me tonight.
That's okay. I pulled them out of your brain.
You're really good at that, so I like that.
Do you want to add anything else before I hop into this?
No, I think you really covered that.
Okay, so then you might want to hop down here.
Yes.
All right.
So, deepening connection with intuition.
Not just
Here I will.
with the elements. Deepening connection with intuition overall.
Yes. We are now going to move, start swaying away from last week's topic and get into what we are here for today. Deepening connection with intuition. Disclaimer. We are not promoting usage of any of these products. We are only providing information on how some natural herbs are used in witchcraft and spirituality. Only consenting adults fully informed on the product and health-related information should even consider usage, but we are not promoting or endorsing the usage of said products. When I do my reads, I like to have some Mary Jane. Sometimes I enjoy my Blue Lotus. Upon occasions, I like to add mugwort. If you know anything about smoking Blue Lotus and or mugwort, it not only gives you a high, but it also helps with visions.
There's a lot of historical uses with this as well. It's not just Miss
Yes.
Diane.
I'm
A lot of people.
I'm pretty sure I have touched base on
Blue Lotus you have in
Blue
your lives.
Lotus in past lives. I haven't touched much base on mugwort because it's something I don't use as often. But I know if you guys go back and watch through my old lives, you can definitely get all the information you can possibly ask for on Blue Lotus. I also like to find a safe space that is comfortable for me, both physically and mentally. Whether that be at my altar, whether that be outside, whether it be here in this delightful room that I'm in right now. I mean, I'm kind of dying out here in the heat, but it's a possibility.
It could be relaxing.
I like to make sure that my mind is 110% clear before I go into any reading. And the reason for that is because that gives me the openness to the messages that are coming in. Would you?
Yeah. Okay, so
Unless you want me to jump down to my exercise, but that will get a little confusing.
Yeah, that'll go a little far. Let me keep going. So back to what we were talking about with this disclaimer herbs and items. There is, if you look back throughout history and stuff like that, you can look at the Egyptians. You can look at the hippie movement. There are so many different time periods where you can look at
Norse.
You said, huh?
Norse.
Okay. Yeah. See, there's so many different times in history where like this is used a lot, and it is something that is commonly used to connect inwards to yourself. You'll see a lot of like third eye drawings and stuff like that. Like it's a way to connect inward. It can be a way for astral projection and stuff like that. It's not the only way. So some other things that people do are there's specific, for instance, aphrodisiac food are known to like make people more in a lovey mood. So like different foods have different effects on people because it is all chemical receptors in your brain. And it is a scientific thing of why that happens because it is how different chemicals are reacting. So there's other things that people do. There's people will do certain smells. Also, they have those like I'm not sure what they're called, but they have those like sensory depriving tubs where people are basically in water with no light or anything, and they're like floating in this like water tub.
Isolation tanks.
Thank you. I was like, someone knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, but sometimes and often with divination, people that already use these items will pair it with their divination because for them it increases and like boosts how you feel about that. Once again, we're not telling you that you need to, we're not telling you that you should. We're just saying different things that are used for connecting with your intuition, because that's really what we're hopping into this live, and this reading is all about connecting with intuition. I'm going to read a couple comments for you. So rad, I just parked my car and a feather appeared. I have the hardest time connecting to air. I'm taking it as a sign, from Ellen.
That's awesome, Ellen. I would definitely take that as a sign.
And she said those
Meditate
are
on it.
Oh yeah, that definitely hold that feather. Think about it. Ellen also said those are so cool. I did one once and really want to try it again. Definitely in safe spaces, around safe people. Fully make sure that you are aware of what you were doing and that you're taking care of yourself in those situations.
Absolutely.
So something that I would also say when trying to connect to your intuition, this might sound a little silly, but I think everyone should try it at least once because you deserve it. And it is to walk in front of the mirror or sit in front of the mirror if you have a couple extra minutes. It can literally be after you take a pee, because nobody's going to tell me that they don't take a pee in their life. If you said that, you're lying. So you walk past a mirror. You can look at yourself and you can tell yourself that you're beautiful or that you're awesome. And if you have some extra time, you can sit and you can look at yourself and you can build that connection with yourself. Ellen said, for sure, we'll put it on my altar and meditate with it. And she said she's got to run, but she'll catch the replay. We will see you in the replay, and definitely
See you in the replay, Ellen.
And Liz hopped in, so hey, Liz. But
hello, Liz.
Yeah, compliment yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror, because the person that's always going to be there through your entire life is the person in the mirror. So that's the person you should trust the most, because if anyone's going to have your back, it's going to be yourself, because you know what's right here. It ain't leaving you, even if it wanted to. So you need to build that trust with yourself, and that will help your readings. Connecting to your intuition and knowing that you can trust yourself will really help. You can do yours to give me a break, and then I'll do mine.
One of the things that I like to do is I like to go outside. I like to connect to the earth. I like to be completely barefoot and connect myself to the earth. And then what you can do while you're out there is, this goes back to the one card draw. Have your cards in front of you. Keep your eyes closed. Really hone in on the cards, and then pull one out. Keep your eyes closed. Feel the intuition. Feel the energies that are around you, and look at the card. Fully give yourself a look at that card and feel that card. Feel that energy. Don't look at the imagery. Just look at the card as a blank card of energy. Then start honing in on the little details one by one, and really start piecing together the different messages from each step that you just took, and write them down. I like to keep a piece of paper and pen with me everywhere. You don't
mind.
do
Don't mind my doodles. But yeah, I always have a notepad.
You don't have to do it outside, but it's definitely a way to really connect with the universe, especially if that's who you are pulling your energy from when you're doing your reads and asking the questions that you are. I feel that being outside with the universe is one of the easiest ways to really connect to her.
And like with the are you still going?
Huh?
I asked if you were still going. I couldn't tell if you were done. Okay. And if you have something to write with, don't feel like You have to have like a cute notebook. I mean, this is falling apart, but literally the one I write in the absolute most is this good old Dollar General write-in pen because I don't feel bad dragging this thing around everywhere I go because I'm not messing up anything nice. And then I can scribble that stuff in it as quickly as I want to. And sometimes when you're doing your readings, I know a lot of us, I do as well, like to write them down because then you can keep them. But when you're doing your reading, if you're focused on trying to like format your page to fit your book with all of your readings in, you can run into like an issue because then you're not really connecting to your reading. You're really focusing on like formatting. So I use this notebook for my readings, but there aren't very many of them in here because I have 60 gazillion pages like this with the reading where I chicken scratch them out so that way I can connect to the reading and I have like drawings all over the pages and I swear if I took a picture of that and sent it to someone for their reading, they'd be like, this is a hot mess. What is this? But I take that and I write out the reading and then at a later point I transfer those readings into my nice notebook because then I can use the advantage of writing it down, but then you're not limiting yourself by wanting it to fit the like aesthetic of your notebook, which I'm not hating on someone for wanting to have an aesthetic notebook. I have them. I just try to find like a middle ground before transferring into that because that really helps.
That's what I do too.
Awesome. I knew other people do that. I just felt like that was a good little tip. My personal exercise is pretty similar to Cheyenne's. I keep my eyes closed as well when I pull cards. And when I'm reading for another person, I really, really look at that. I stare at the picture. This is going to sound a little weird, I suppose, but I'll look at a picture that I'm doing the reading for and I'll focus in on their eyes and their energy until I sort of zone out, so to speak. And then I'm no longer like looking at their photo, but I see that like them as a person and I'm repeating their name and it's almost like I'm watching them super far away, but like I'm still fuzzy-eyed on the photo, if that makes any sense. But then I will keep the cards face down after I pull them. I will write down what I'm feeling, how I feel energy-wise, and then I'll flip them over. And then I will dive into those cards and look at the imagery, and I will connect that back to my initial feelings because that will show that original intuition before I ever even looked at the card, how close my message was to what it was once I flip over the card and dive in.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. Grounding. Do your readings outside. Again, best way to connect. God, best way to connect with the universe. Or hey, if you like, if it's raining and you don't want to get soaked, you can be by windows, like in this room. This is actually the prime room for me to do this in. So, minus my mom's delightful head.
Hey,
This is our sunroom. If you notice, we have 50 million different windows to work with.
and it's hot.
And that's actually why I'm dying of heat out here right now. But that's besides the point. If you don't want to go outside, sitting by a window is a great option. Listen to the ocean, rain, music, the wind. I know I like listening to the birds. The birds are one of my favorite things to listen to. Or the chipmunks. The chipmunks are fun to listen to as well. I have a chippy friend. Wind chimes, drums, instruments, bells. There's so many options.
Here's the
Oh, that is the cutest little bell ever.
Thank you. I got it for 50 cents. What a steal. Let me not deafen everybody. Hold on. It is so cute. I was obsessed. I literally walked out of the store, got in the car, and I was like, no. Because I saw it and I was like, this is gonna go on my altar. And I was like, girl, I didn't come here to buy anything. So I went out of the store, I got in my car, and I was like, I can't. So I like zoomed back into the store and bought it. And then here's the sound bowl. I don't know where the other piece is. It's down there somewhere, but some visual representations I thought would be nice.
Wind chimes, like we have a makeshift one outside on our porch. When that's blowing in the wind, I will say it's heavenly. I
Oh,
do enjoy listening to that. Listen to guided meditations before completing your reads. There are so many options out there. I know Crystal has done a couple in here. You can YouTube them. I follow Mir's Wall, and there's a lot of guided meditations on there. Do grounding exercises for your senses, for all 5 senses. Connecting your reading headspace to a specific sense, whether it be, sorry, I'm dying over here. Whether it be a scent, the texture, the sight, the smell, really hone in on that. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so like we were talking about at the beginning, like with going outdoors is really helpful, but if let's say you live in a place where when you go outdoors, it is not a prime space. Like there are many of us who maybe live in cities, maybe live in apartment complexes, maybe live with just neighbors that are annoying and nosy and just won't leave you alone. So maybe outdoors isn't an option. Maybe you go outside at night. Maybe you look up a place on YouTube and you listen to like scenery of the mountains, and they'll have like a mountain view with like a fireplace and all sorts of sound effects. You can do like YouTube galore for scenery that you want to connect to, and some of those are pretty nice. They've gotten some pretty good sounds, and when you put those headphones on, it's pretty immersive. But yeah, listening to literally whatever makes you feel connected, or play your own music. Some instrumentally blessed people are probably here. Maybe you want to play the piano or strum up some guitar and listen to that while you're just connecting to the sound. I know that can be really connecting for the people that do that. And then yeah, when you're connecting to a specific sensory input, I like to use my tarot deck for an example with this. I had a pineapple soap from Bath and Body Works, which apparently is the best soap ever because the smell has never come out of my cards, and I don't think it ever will. So my cards smell like sweet pineapples, and so now that smell is so connected to my tarot readings, it's crazy. If I'm smelling some sweet pineapples and I'm not reading my cards, well, I'm doing a reading on whoever's in front of me with my head now because I'm just smelling those pineapples. And funny thing is, I hate the way pineapples taste. I can't stand it. I don't eat pineapples. I actually didn't even like the smell really before, but it's grown on me. I like it now.
I love
So maybe because it's a fake
pineapples.
They're so sour, they kill me.
Then you haven't had the right pineapple.
Man, I eat green apples and they're too sour.
See, I love green apples, though.
I like red apples and red grapes. I'm a wuss. But besides that, does anybody have any questions over, it can be the last program, anything to do with the elements, anything to do with connecting with your intuition, grounding? If you have any questions, I'll see them and I'll read them out loud for either of us. Just before we hop into what our next program is. Anything that you would like to add from this great adventure we went on while we wait for questions, if there are any?
This has been fun of getting
I
this
love
planned.
that it's just this that I see from you. So you're like the little frog in the corner of your, like when you're typing and there's like, or the little paper clip from Microsoft way back in the day, like down in the corner is what it's reminding me.
That's because I have my chair propped down because my neck was killing me from work
you're like
today.
looking down. Yeah, I put my chair all the way down when I do the lives because if not, it's going to break my. Well, I'm not saying anything, so if you want to go ahead and hop into the next program, I will say anything if it appears.
All right. So our next program, it is a true non-traditional read. That means there is no card limit, minus a minimum of at least 3 cards. Please at least pull 3 for some meat to your read. Allow yourself to continue pulling or shuffling to let the cards fall out until the universe tells you to stop. We are not giving you a full limit on this one. This is completely up to you.
Yeah, no spread, no card limit, just the 3, so that way there's at least something to the reading. But if you want to make a spread up, please don't Google one. But if you yourself feel the need that I need these cards to be laid out like this and read in this order, then if you feel intuitively called to do that, do that. But don't feel like you need to look up a specific thing. It's all about what feels right when you're doing it.
Yes. Not using a specific spread or question, allowing the universe to use the cards as a vessel to transmit the message to your partner.
Yeah.
That's what
So
this is all about.
the question is, what do they need to know?
Yes. When you are thinking of your partner, what you should be thinking of is, what does the universe need to know? Or what does she need to know from the universe? I mean, God, I can't speak. It's fine. Really connecting to your partner's energy for this read. Use pictures. I like to pull their profile picture. I'm not a big reader over video calling. I get way too tongue-tied and like deer in headlights moments a lot. So I personally like to pull their picture. If you could even provide me with your favorite color, your favorite song, something
Having
that
a hard time connecting to a reading, ask them for their favorite song or just a song they're vibing with. Play that song while you're trying to read for them if you're having a hard time.
you
That's a great idea.
can ask them things that they are into. You know, something. Maybe you have something at the house that represents them. Like, say, well, with Sarah, she's a big Harry Potter nerd like I am. I have about 1,001 things that I can pull to really connect with Sarah if I'm struggling. You know, talk to your partner, get to know your partner a little bit. That will really help open up those channels. Another thing is video calling. You can video call, or if you want, you can even record yourself in a video and then send it to your partner if you want to.
When you're doing the readings, you can type your readings, you can voice memo, which is my personal favorite. I do the voice memos because for some reason Facebook like cuts you off at 30-second videos, and I'm a blabbermouth, so I got a lot to say. But you can do videos, you can do video call, you can do voice memo, you can text it. You could even, I don't know how to do it, but I know a couple of people do. I know Miss Ellen does that, where you can make a video, upload it on a private YouTube channel where like it's only viewable with like a link, and then you send that person the specific link, and since they have the link, they can view it. But sometimes YouTube has a mind of its own, so that should be known. But there is a lot of options for ways that you can do the reading for whatever works with you, because yes, some people might find it intimidating to do the reading looking at someone, or maybe like you need more time to sit down and connect. It's not something that you could instantly say, and so you'd feel weird with your partner like staring at you while you're trying to do the reading. So you can do it in whatever method. I don't usually do tarot readings. I've never done a tarot reading over like a video. I've done tarot readings for people in person, like at that moment. But when I do that, it is 95% my intuition of what the hell I think that person needs to hear, because that's what the universe is telling me. And the cards are they're just directions. The cards are just directions. They're like, here's Walmart. Like I just use that for like a baseline because I don't have the time to pull into the cards super hard. So like I'll use this strength for examples because I know we talked about wanting an example read. So I'm going to use this strength card as a pretend example for Cheyenne. It's obviously not an actual reading. Actually, screw it. You know what? First read with this deck. I got you, Cheyenne. Let's see what we get. If it's horrific, don't judge me. I've never read with this deck. So, if it's horrific, just laugh and nod. Just laugh and nod. So, yeah. So, what I'll do, this is a new deck, so all the cards might fly on the floor. Don't mind me. But, so I'm going to hit the shuffle a couple times. I'm going to look at Miss Cheyenne's melon, and then And I'm gonna connect to her energy, and I'm just gonna see. It's just a light-hearted little read. I'm just gonna hit this a few times, see if something comes out. No, only one. We're gonna work it a little. Anything that you want to add while I work this, Cheyenne, on what I've been saying?
I'm getting way too much amusement right now.
You're doing way too much what?
Oh, you make me laugh.
I'm glad. I got one. No, it gave me two. Okay, you get two. It was mad. It gave me two. So let's see. We have the reverse Six of Pentacles, and then we have a beautiful the Moon card. Okay. So
Those are really pretty, by the way.
thank Ellen. She is honestly the sweetest human being on the planet. She saw my crusty, dusty cards and wanted to help me. So, but yeah, these are literally the most beautiful cards. Like, look, I'll give you a close up. This is the Moon. That is so cute. So, let's give a really intuition-based read for Cheyenne. So we have the Moon. So, and this is like her going down here. So maybe she is feeling a little overwhelmed by the weight of maybe some unexpected, a lot of troubles going on with balancing, a lot of material stuff that's going on. And it's really like remembering to have equal sides of the partnership. It's a balance. So one person has to hold one part, one person has to hold the other. If someone's trying to do someone else's job, it's going to create a lot of problems. So you have to perfectly create this infinity, this trust, and the time will really get you through things. And so maybe she's feeling a little weighed down, but she's still this beautiful mermaid, and she's going to come back up. She has this balance of this dark side and this light side, but the Moon and her intuition is really guiding her. So it's going to take some time, but she's going to get there. She'll come back up. You can see her shadow. It's lifting back up. So that's what I would do intuitionally, but I could be wrong. Well, that's what I'll do. But I've never used this
You
deck.
want to talk about the most spot-on moment of my life?
Oh, good. I didn't know if I connected to this deck well, so I was a little unsure.
No, you have no idea because you just went into what I've been complaining to my mother about for the last, 3 weeks of my stress factors.
Well, see, there you go, guys. Now I can say I have done a on-the-spot reading. What my heart was pumping a little, I was feeling that anxiety, but I got that message across.
You got this, sweetheart.
So I'm glad the message resonated. That was a great example. If it was completely off base, that would have been a funny ass example. But then so there we go. That's an example of how you could do this card reading, since we were talking about providing
Yes.
a pretty on-the-spot moment. But there we go.
It was a very on-the-spot moment. Does anybody have any questions? Because in all seriousness, the only thing that I have left for you guys is to talk about the next program date. So
I have not seen any more comments since Miss Ellen had to zoom out.
all right. Well, so our next program date is the partnership will go up. The signups will go up tonight, as soon as this live ends. They will be open until Saturday morning. I'm closing them Saturday morning because Saturday morning, later on in the morning, I will be sending, me or Sarah will be sending out the names to your partner. Once your names will be given, you will have from Saturday, August 3rd to Saturday, August 17th to complete one full read with feedback for your partner, intuitionally based. I feel like I had something going with that, but it just ain't flowing.
Yeah. So you'll be given the signups go up tonight. You have until tomorrow, correct, to do them, the signups? Yes, till the end of the day tomorrow. And then on Saturday, August 3rd, in 3 days, the names will be given out by either Cheyenne or myself. And then you will have 2 weeks, plenty of time to complete one reading, and then you must give feedback on the person's reading that they gave to you. Full feedback, not just 2 sentences, actual feedback. And then that is what you're required to do. And then on August 17th, we will put out a feedback form in the group chat and a poll, making sure everyone has completed their readings. And so between the 3rd and the 17th, you have the 1 reading, the 1 thing of feedback, and at the end, you have the 1 form to let us know any feedback about the whole partnership. That's what you're required. And when we send you the names, please send back a response, not just like the message. Even if you just say, okay, as long as we know that you got it and that you've read it, that is all we need.
Yep.
Awesome.
That sounds perfect.
Hey, Faith.
So again, I am going to open up one more time. Is there any questions for us? And remember, you can always catch the replay. We always go back. I definitely look over the comments every single time just to make sure. And now that Sarah has shown her face and we have introduced her, you can direct your questions to her or me. It is a partner thing that we have going here. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, the questions, you can put them in the replay of the video. You can directly message. Faith said she got here late and she's going to be watching the replay. No problem. We appreciate you hopping in for a minute. I do not see any other questions. So if you want to hit the close out, we can do that.
All right. Well, then I am going to end our live, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your evening, and I can't wait to catch you guys in the partnership program. Be on the lookout for that partnership program to be posted after this live ends, and I hope you guys have a blessed evening. Blessed be, ladies.